We'll do God is unjust then.
Okay.
All right. So you think God is not unjust, correct?
I don't believe he's unjust.
Perfect. So would you agree that the basic definition of justice is getting what you deserve? Like an eye for an eye.
I would say that's standard definition, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If you take somebody's eye, you get your taken. If you take somebody's eye and somebody else gets their eye taken, that's considered injustice, right?
Right.
Like if you took somebody's eye and instead of taking your eye, they took like your mom's eye, that can never be considered justice, right?
Correct.
All right. So when God unalives people for other people's crimes, how is that not being unjust?
Okay, I'd have to understand what specifically you're talking about.
Well, there's lots of examples of this. My favorite one to use is the slaughter of the Amalekites, but I also like to use the census of David, where in 2 Samuel chapter 24, God orders David to take a census. So he does. And apparently this was the wrong answer because he unalived 70,000 Israelites as a result of this. And David even says, he's like, I'm the one who sinned. Why are you punishing all these other people? So how would that be considered justice?
Okay, as far as the Amalekites, that's an easy one for me. The Amalekites did a dirty deed. They attacked Israel from the hindquarters when they were leaving Egypt.
That was 400 years prior to the slaughter of the Amalekites.
Exactly. And
exactly. So how is punishing people 400 years after the fact justice?
Right? We're talking eye for
what?
an eye. We're talking eye for an eye.
On the ones who committed the crime, yeah.
Well, it was the people themselves that God wanted gone. Okay, it's like certain groups of people genetically are screwed up and they're just going to do bad and they're a thorn and a prick no matter what you do or how you try to help them. They're just jerks and God just wanted them gone. You know, that's his.
So they were jerks. So God genocided a bunch of babies.
He took them out. He nuked them. They're gone.
Doesn't sound like justice to me. It sounds like murder and evil.
Because they had no business attacking Israel's hindquarters, the weaker side of Israel.
That was 15 generations before these people.
Agreed. God didn't forget it.
So we have already agreed that it is always unjust to punish people for other people's crimes. So how is it not considered unjust that God is punishing people for things people 15 generations earlier did?
Well, God is sovereign. He made the sandbox. You know, he has the right to do that. Whereas you and I are graded on a different set of rules. You know, we have to obey rules, whereas God being the creator, you know,
but he's just violated our agreement of what we agreed was just and unjust. So God is violating what we just agreed on.
What's just and unjust for you and I is different from what's just and unjust for the creator. He's sovereign. He made
but you're saying we agreed on justice and injustice. So by your own definition, your God is unjust.
No. By my definition, it would be unjust for you and I. But
you and I, we are both saying it is unjust what God is doing. We should both be saying.
I don't grade God on the same standard as I would grade you and I.
What standard does he get?
He gets whatever standard he wants. He's the creator. I'm not. What right do I have to judge God?
Here we are once again at divine command theory.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
So if God was doing something evil or unjust, how could you possibly know?
You know, the Bible clearly says, what right have you to turn and judge the creator for creating you as such? Okay, he creates vessels of honor and dishonor. That's his prerogative. You got to understand that. If you create, like if you're sitting down at a potter's wheel and you start making a pot, you have the right to destroy that and start something new. I mean, that it's just the prerogative of the creator.
So give me an example of something God could do that would show you that God is evil and unjust.
I would say because God is intellectually much bigger than me. I can't explain him or his motives or reasons. So I will not ascribe anything to
So
him.
nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Exactly. Thanks for demonstrating that you don't even have the capability to know if God is doing something evil or unjust. So how can you argue he's not those things if you
Are
don't
you
even have the
intellectually bigger
ability
than
to
God?
judge that?
Are you intellectually bigger than God?
Yeah,
No, you're not. So
I
that
am.
just that proves to me that you're not willing
I'm
to
actually real. I'm a real person who's here talking right now. God is a figment of imaginations.
Okay, well then why are we talking about him then?
Because
mean,
you
if we're
do
not
believe it.
Well, I do, but if you don't, we're having a circular argument.
It's a
What I-
debate.
It's not a debate if you don't believe in what we're debating in. It's pointless.
It's a debate to say who's right about this God.
What I think we should do is not talk about a figment of something that's in your imagination. Why don't we try to prove or disprove whether he exists first? If he doesn't
Well,
exist,
we've-
our arguments
well,
are pointless.
how would we know? Like, you're using an argument that you're not even capable of knowing whether God can or is doing something evil or unjust.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you don't believe that he exists, then it's a circular argument that's going to go nowhere because you can't come on the same equal plane as me and talk real with me. If I was debating a Christian, for instance, then we could talk about it. We can't talk about it if it's
Well,
a
why don't you
figure.
go debate a Christian then?
Pardon me?
Why don't you go debate a Christian then?
I'm debating you right now.
No, you're not. You're giving me excuses why you can't debate me.
Well, it's illogical to debate you. I would love to debate you, but it's illogical.
Well, then go debate somebody logical then. What are you doing here?
Well, I would be willing to debate his existence. If you want to go that route.
But I don't understand. Like, you're saying, you're essentially, like, say we was debating if this car is fast.
Right.
You're saying, of course it's fast. It can't be anything but fast. And I would say, how do you know if it's even going slow? And you say it can't go slow. I wouldn't know that. So, like, this is essentially the argument you're making.
About the existence of God or what?
No, whether God is unjust or evil.
Pardon me, say that again. I had a call come through.
No worries. I'm talking about God being unjust or evil. Like, you can't prove God's existence. That's not going to happen. So I don't see why we should debate that.
Well,
Unless you think
okay.
you can prove God's existence somehow.
Well, I think what I can do is make it more logical that he would exist versus not.
All right, I'll tell you what. Go ahead. We'll try that.
Okay.
Because if you're incapable of telling or knowing if God does something evil or unjust, then you have no argument at all because you're incapable of even making that argument.
Well, you can't say that. You didn't argue it with me. If you said to me, if you tried to debate, if up on your panel you had, is your lamp an evil lamp? I would say that's a real stupid ass argument. Why are you debating that? You don't know if that lamp is evil or not because it's just a damn lamp.
Well, I can prove it's not evil because it's not doing evil things.
Right, but it doesn't exist in the sense that it could do evil in your mind. What I'm saying is it's an illogical argument to even post something if you don't believe that something even exists.
It doesn't matter if I believe it exists. The Bible says it does, and the Bible says it did this stuff. I can judge the words of what the book is saying about it.
The book is illogical to you. You don't believe in them words.
It's illogical because it doesn't make any sense. If it did make sense, I would say it's logical.
To you, because you're not spiritually minded, you can't grasp the concepts of that book.
Oh, that's right. I
Because
need
you
Holy
don't
Spirit
believe in
powers
the
first.
author of that book. It's like debating a funny book, a comic book. It's illogical to debate a comic book. It's stupid. So what I'm saying
Well, if the comic book says A is going to happen and B happens or A never happens, that's kind of illogical to say it did actually happen, isn't it?
Yeah, but when you're debating a comic book,
so I can judge the Bible in the same way with actual logic and reason as anybody else with basic reading comprehensions. We can read the words that it's telling us and see if they are making sense. You don't need Holy Spirit power for that.
No, what I'm saying is I'm not going to debate something with somebody that doesn't believe that something even exists. I want to
Okay, well,
debate.
I don't believe it exists.
Okay, so let's work on whether or not this thing exists. If we can come to some kind of mutual agreement that this supernatural power exists, then I'll debate these ethical issues you're discussing. Okay, so
I think you already lost that debate, but okay.
well, I didn't lose it because I can't have an honest debate with you about it.
I don't know why you can't just be honest. Like,
I can, but what I'm saying is I don't believe it's like talking about my lamp is evil, and it's not
yes,
evil.
but see, we agreed first on a definition of justice. We agreed on example of injustice. I showed you where God is violating what we just agreed on, and then you turned it to, well, that's God. He gets a different pass.
Well, because I was under the assumption it was a measure of judgment between human beings.
Okay, well, let's do this. We'll just pretend for a moment I do believe this God exists. Now can we debate whether it's good or evil?
Okay. So we're coming on the plane that this God exists. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the standard by which God operates is his own standards. It's his sandbox. Just
Okay,
like
well, I have my standards that I'm going to judge this by.
okay, but right, but what I'm saying is the standards that God set up for his sandbox is his rules. Just as though like you were playing a video game and you were playing, I think it's Sims, and you were setting up the standards by which this city was going to exist and how the people were going to interact amongst themselves. I mean, you have that right, do you not?
Sure.
Okay. So God is playing by his standards. He's saying these I created it. It's mine. I do what I want with it. Okay, so that's the standard by which I'm going to talk about this because that's the honest way that he set it up. He didn't
That's a standard that I can't even argue or comprehend according to you. So why would I debate a standard that I can't even comprehend?
Well, if you can't comprehend that, I just gave you an example of The Sims. You're sitting back and you're going to set this city up in a way that is pleasing to you. Okay, you have that right, and I asked you that. Do you have that right to do that?
To play Sims?
Yeah,
Sure.
in the manner you want.
Well, I
Okay.
still have to play in the parameters of the game.
Well, you do, but the game's parameter is God's parameters. I mean, because he created the game.
So, in God's parameters, is it ever okay to unalive a bunch of people for something somebody else did?
According to his standards, yes.
According to his standards, yes. So, not according to our standards, right?
Your standards doesn't mean a hill of damn beans. You're a created thing. You're an it.
My standard does mean something.
You're just a part of the game that he created.
So, this is just a big game to God?
Yeah.
Sounds like he's a psycho.
Well, hey, you would be considered a psycho in Sims if the pieces in Sims didn't like how you set the game up, but you would say, look, so what? Deal with it.
So, what I'm hearing here is you and I agree on standards of justice. God does not fit our standards of justice. He has his own little standard, but you worship this God anyway, even though he's violating our standards of justice.
Yes.
That sounds messed up, man.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing.
You're basically saying, I know this is wrong, but I'm going to worship him anyway because I'm sure he knows better than me.
No, I'm not saying it like that. What I'm saying is that I trust his standard of justice above my standard of justice.
So you can't clearly see a verse where a bunch of people are being smurdered for what other people did and say, yeah, this is clearly evil. I can do that. But you can't do that, right?
No. I just said to you, I trust his standard of justice above my standard of justice.
That's what I don't understand. Like, why wouldn't you read this and say, this is messed up? This is clearly not right.
How do you know
But
I
you're
didn't?
saying,
How do
never
you know
mind
I
all
didn't?
that because it's God, right?
How do you know I didn't? Because I
Because you
did.
agreed with me.
No,
We've
I
already
did.
agreed on
And
this.
I'm saying initially in my logical mind, I said, wow, that's kind of fucked up. But then
Yeah.
what I do is I defer to God's better judgment on the matter.
How do you know he has better judgment if you can't even solve why he's doing it?
I just explained that to you because his level of understanding is bigger than mine.
How do you know? Because he's doing something that is violating our own standards.
Hypothetically, if he is the creator, his intellect, his power, his understanding is bigger than mine. I don't create anything. I do not possess the ability to
I'm
create it.
trying to figure how do you know that though? How do you judge that if you can't even measure him against our own standards and him come out better than us? That's what I don't understand.
That what you just said is twisted. It's a
It's
twisted
not.
garbage.
It's just a question.
It's not a logical question. Say it again.
Well, maybe I said it wrong. Okay, maybe I said it wrong. So our standards are being violated by this God, but you're
Right.
foregoing that and saying God has to be better for some reason. But what are you basing that on to think his logic is better than ours when he's violating our own logic?
Because I just said to you, I defer to his better judgment being the creator.
Yeah, I'm asking you why. What are you basing that on?
Why? I just explained that because his understanding, his intellect, his power is above mine.
But how do you know?
Because I look out into the universe and I see and I say, look, if he created all that, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt being the creator. He's
Oh,
much,
so it's a benefit of the doubt thing. Okay, now that answers the question. Okay, that's better.
yeah, if I look into the universe and I say, wow, that's pretty damn incredible. If he created all this, he's much more powerful and understanding than me.
Is there anything in the universe you would give that same benefit of the doubt besides your God?
Absolutely not.
We call that a double standard.
Well, I looked at abiogenesis and it's got all kinds of holes in it.
Yeah, but there's at least evidence for it. Like we've solved 5 out of 7 or 8 problems for life, so we have evidence for at least a bunch of that. But where's this evidence for a
Got
God?
it. But how do you know that isn't God inspired?
Because there's no reason to think so, other than you want to
There
believe it.
is. Oh, there absolutely is. See,
What's that?
well, okay. So the bottom line is reality has to have an identity. Okay, that which something exists. Okay. So when you say the word reality, you're naming an identity. Okay, so I'll give you an example of that. For reality to exist at all, it must have an identity, and that identity is I am that I am. That was Moses at the burning bush. Okay, so I'll break it down a little further for you.
Is that a Bible you're flipping?
No,
Darn it. I thought maybe you went and grabbed the Bible.
no, the order of a design,
What
like,
book are you flipping through?
it's not a book, it's my notes.
Oh,
Okay,
makes sense. Yes.
the order of the design of the universe points to an intelligent mind. So that's the basis by which I believe that reality has an identity. Okay, an example of that is in order for me to bring about order in my personal life, whether it's cleaning my house, tending to my yard or garden or anything, in order for me to have order, I have to purpose for that. I have to work real damn hard at it. And a lot of times I don't like doing it, but I do it anyways because I don't like a messy, shitty house and I don't like a messy, shitty yard. So I work real hard at it. So when I look at the order of the cosmos and how it's set up, I believe that order didn't come about by random chance. Okay, that's just a logical part of my argument for why I believe there's a higher power. That the order of the universe displays, like Mars, for instance, it's taking all the hits, so we don't have to. And then the moon is the second one. the order, the mathematical order of our solar system in our immediate home here, how we're elliptically going around the sun in such a way that creates a habitable zone for thousands of years.
You're saying that can't be natural, it has to be magical?
If we could find a duplicate, I may play along with that argument, but we can't find
There's a whole universe of duplicates. It's gravity.
No. I'm saying tangibly, we can't point at a cluster of stars that says, look, there's an Earth.
Well, either way, I don't understand how you're getting to the Bible God here and what it's doing being justified when it's clearly just seems like evil murder to me.
Order demands an intelligent mind. Okay. Life always comes from life. Okay, so when we look at a genome,
life only comes from, you mean biological life, right?
Life in general, plant life,
biological life.
It only comes from life. You can't get life from non-life.
That's biological life, though. So you're saying life can only come from biological life, right?
Correct.
Okay, so God is a biological life form who bred and made other life from it, right?
Well, let's just deal with life. Okay. What I'm saying is
biological life, yeah.
You can't have life come from non-life. In other words, inert matter cannot produce the intelligence that went into the genome.
So you're saying you have to have biological life to bring forth biological life, right?
Order. What I'm saying is, I'm not talking about random, like a single cell organism or something like that. If that already exists on comets, and whatnot, I have no problem with that. But what I'm talking about the organization of that information that produces biological function, like a human function or an animal function or plant life. It has to have.
Sure. I'm just trying to be extremely clear on what we're talking about here, right? So we are biological life. Like even a single-celled organism is biological life. So you're saying life can only come from biological life. Is that correct?
No. What I'm talking about.
Okay. So life don't come from life. It comes from something else.
It comes from a higher power that made that life.
There we go. So this is the real argument. Life can only come from some sort of spirit magic.
Okay, let's argue your argument that biological life existed on a comet as a single cell organism. Okay, or you have the ingredients floating around on various comets. Okay, and they all kind of came together. All these ingredients for the cake came together.
No.
Okay, what I'm saying is even if that is true, you still only have a computer. But without gates producing windows in the interface, it doesn't give life to that computer. Okay, so what I'm saying is when you look at the genome, the instructions that gives biological function to the life, that cannot happen by random chance. There's no scientific evidence.
But you're also saying now that it can't happen from other life too. You're making the source different now.
I didn't say that. You got to listen carefully to what I'm saying. I'm talking about.
That's why I tried to clarify it a minute ago, and you changed then.
I'm clarifying it right now. What I'm talking about is the arrangement in the order of those instructions does not come about by random chance. There's no scientific evidence to prove that instruction.
What do you mean by random?
Okay, random is happen chance. Okay.
So why would you say it's random though?
I'm going to explain it. You got to let me finish my sentence. There's no scientific evidence to support that instruction and information that's put together in a logical sequential order ever existed on inert matter. Now I'm not saying,
not true.
Well, look, the probability, the random logical probability of it is so astronomical that it defies logic.
What's the odds? And what are you measuring them against?
Good question. I don't think it's ever been mathematically calculated what those odds would be. What I'm saying is,
Then why
what
would you
I
bring it up?
well, because it's more reasonable for me to believe in the beginning God, looking at the genome and the fact that that information, that coded information, is in the cell to give biological function to an organism, than it is for me to believe in the beginning matter and energy and the random probability of it just kind of coming together and making a human being.
Okay, well, let me clarify real quick. So when you said life only comes from life, what kind of life were you talking about that it can only come from?
Well, I already explained that to you, and my version is life, even in a single cell organism category, can only come from a higher power purposing for that thing to even exist in the first place.
So when you say life, you mean higher power.
Correct.
So why don't you say life can only come from higher powers then?
Because in my world, in my way of thinking, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think it is. We're talking about biological life. You're not saying biological life made biological life, but you're saying life can come from life. But when you say life, you actually mean a higher power, whatever that means.
Okay, well, both can be true at the same time.
Can
What
they?
I'm saying is, even if we take it to the other side, life being biological life, I believe that you can have sugar, you can have flour, you can have oil, and you can have eggs all on the table. It doesn't mean it arrives in the form of a cake after billions of years. You can have all the ingredients for life, okay, to make RNA, DNA, but for them to be arranged in such an order that actually makes the information that gives biological function, we're talking a whole nother thing now.
Yeah,
It's
but you know it's proven that RNA is natural, right? They grow themselves. You can watch this happen.
yeah,
RNA is naturally forming.
yeah, but then it's not in and of itself, by itself, life. What I'm saying, it's a part
Yeah,
of
but
the
it's that
ingredient.
information you're speaking of, those
It's it's
those
part of it.
codes and stuff.
It's part of it. It's not the whole thing,
So if that can come natural, why are you adding supernatural on top of it though?
because I just explained it to you that
No.
it's only a part of the puzzle. What I'm saying is if all these pieces of the puzzle are on different comets and somehow they mysteriously landed here on Earth near a vent, which created the perfect environment, okay, I can give the perfect environment. I'll give you all of that, even though it's kind of crazy, okay, to think that all the ingredients that goes into the cell, the nucleus, RNA, DNA, chromosomes, all these things, then they mysteriously land near a hot pot spot where they can kind of produce. It still
Like
doesn't make
Earth?
it doesn't make a cake in my mind.
Well,
You
yeah,
see,
but you got all the ingredients there. I mean, the
you got
oven's on.
the oven's on. All the ingredients there, the oven's on.
Seems
It's
inevitable to me. I mean, something that already happened seems to be 100% probable to me. Not like
okay. So
astronomical
let's.
odds.
I'm going to give you that. So let's say that all mysteriously happens. Where I'm stumped, where I'm highly stumped at this point is, so you have a computer. You don't have the mind to put the interface together yet. You see where I'm going? You don't have the ability to have biological function at this point. You have the
Sure,
cake.
I just think it would be better to say we don't know that part than to add on that a higher power is what life can only come from.
Well, we're dealing with random probability in the astronomical mathematical calculation side, just for all those things to come together and make the cake. Okay, and that's
Yeah, but
over
those
billions
that's
of
what
years.
as far as I know, those ingredients that we've been saying are natural and are there are all over the place. They're all
Got it.
over the universe. So
I'm going to
literally
give you
all you
that.
need is an oven like Earth to pop up and then it's basically inevitable that life is about to come about.
Okay, but where's the interface? How does that happen?
It's on Earth. It's in the information, the parts of us that come together. Like our bodies are made of a
Oh,
bunch of non-living
guys.
things. Like life is made of non-life.
I just gave you all the random probability that the computer can put
Yeah, and I'm
itself.
sure you think you're making perfect sense here, but you're not.
Well, let me just explain this to you. I gave you all the random probability that a computer can put itself together, right?
It
And I
sounds
gave,
like we agreed they're all natural.
can I please just, I'm trying to give you an analogy. Gave you
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the random probability that a computer put itself together. And that's crazy in my thinking. Now you're wanting to add on to it that the interface put itself all together and gave biological function, gave life to that computer. I can't wrap my brain around that. So all I'm telling you is we can't prove one over the other, but what I'm saying is the random probability is so fucking high that it's more reasonable for me to believe that an
The
intelligent,
probability nobody's added up.
huh?
The probability no one's added up yet.
Someone tried and their calculator blew a fuse.
Oh,
Yeah, it's crazy to think it. I mean, really, honestly, it's crazy.
I know.
Can you create a gene? Do you think science will ever be able to create a gene?
No, but we can watch genes create themselves.
There you are. That's exactly my point, my friend. The random probability of that happening, if we can't intellectually create a gene, but it's
We
going to
have created genes.
by accident, is insane. It's insane to
We've
think.
literally created our own artificial life from non-living life. Like, you can watch this in a lab.
Where did this happen? I never heard about it.
Yeah, look it up. It's abiogenesis studies, RNA world hypothesis and stuff. Like, this
Yep,
is all
it's
pretty well known
incomplete.
now, I think.
There's still holes in the
So-
argument.
It doesn't matter. You still have evidence for all this happening naturally, even though we don't know every single step. Like, it's all there. Like, we can watch it happen. Why would you discard all of that to come back to
It
some
only proves
power
God.
source that you can't even prove?
All it proves is God created things like that to recreate itself. It's just like when I cut myself, the body heals itself naturally.
Naturally.
Yeah. It recreates itself. You know,
It's almost like everything we've said so far is natural.
no, it recreates itself because a higher power purposed for it to heal itself. It needed to be able to heal itself. So all I'm saying is I can't, with 100% certainty, mathematical certainty, come to you and say factually, here's God. But what I'm saying is the probability, the reasonable probability of there being a higher power that put this cake together and put the system together makes more sense than for it to have randomly come together all by itself. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think I'm the exact opposite. I think the odds are that it all happened naturally and not supernaturally.
The random probability of that is so.
Do you know what retrovirus DNA is?
No.
Well, long story short, it's viruses that insert themselves permanently into like other living beings' DNA, right? So we share 200 out of 208 of those DNA strands with chimpanzees. And the odds that we could have shared those with those before a split about 8 million years ago could be like a quadrillion to one. Like, so it's basically saying 100% probability that evolution is true, that we evolved from these earlier life forms. So, I mean, well, I guess I should ask, like, you believe in evolution, right?
I call it adaptation.
That is evolution.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I call it something different. I don't believe we've evolved.
We call it something different, but we're still talking about the same thing, aren't we?
No, because I believe
Oh.
God created man from the dust of the ground.
Okay, so you don't believe we evolved from earlier life forms then?
No,
Okay.
but I believe
So
that
retrovirus DNA, you can look that up.
Right.
It proves that the chances of us not having evolved with other chimpanzees is like 50 trillion to 1.
Okay.
So those are cool odds. We definitely was once shared a common ancestor with chimpanzees.
Okay, but it isn't conclusive. It isn't factually.
Yeah, but the odds are astronomical that it's not
Right.
true.
is it any less astronomical than all the ingredients coming together and forming a cake and then icing itself? I mean, I really struggle with
if
those
they're
things.
under the right circumstances, yeah, that's how tornadoes are formed. Like, it's rare, but when all those natural elements meet together, it's inevitable. You cannot stop the tornado.
Okay, but let's say I give you that. What I'm saying is it's much more improbable that the coded instructions go along with it. Okay. So it's not the same thing. It's like me giving you the probability that a computer can make itself. All the wiring, all the stuff comes together, but then the interface is missing, so the computer's basically useless. So even if the body came together as a organism, a complete organism, what I struggle with is the genome. Okay, how the hell did that coded instruction get in there?
It evolved. It has retrovirus DNA in it.
Well, you keep going back to that, just like abiogenesis, but the bottom
No,
line,
it's what proved. That's the number one best proof of evolution, in my opinion, because the odds of it not happening are astronomical.
right? But at the same time, the odds of it happening is astronomical.
No, it's not. We have it right now. We already have it. That's 100% odds that it happened.
No, in your mind, it happened in the way you believe it did. But what I'm
You
saying,
heard what I said, though, right? We share 200 strands of retrovirus DNA with chimpanzees up until about 7 million years ago. We
right?
have 8 or 9 each that we've got after that are now different. The chance that we share 200 strands of identical DNA, but 8 are different after the fact, would make that astronomically improbable. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, I would
Like, that is
disagree with
proving that we had the
that.
same common ancestor.
If I'm looking for a ghost, for instance, I'm gonna find a ghost. I'm gonna find some way in my
Yeah, I would make that argument about
that
God.
I
If you're
found a
looking for
ghost.
God, you're going to find God.
Okay, but what I'm saying is the law of attraction says that if I'm looking in the direction of evolution, I'm going to wrap my mind around enough evidence to try to, in my mind, justify that that's the way it happened.
Yeah, but there's absolute proof that evolution is
It's
true.
not absolute. You just lied.
It is.
It's
Nope.
not. It's not
It
absolute.
is.
You just
It
told me
is.
there were 8 missing. It's
I
not
was talking
absolute.
about retrovirus DNA strands.
That does not prove anything.
Those 8 different ones proves that the 200 identical ones came from a common ancestor.
Right, but you said there's 8 missing. It's
It
not
proves we had a common. No, I didn't say there was 8 missings. No, you're the one that's not listening. I said we have 8 different ones than
okay. 8
chimpanzees.
different ones. 8 different ones, but it's not
After
absolute.
we split from a
How
common
is it-
ancestor.
But how? Yeah, whatever. How is that absolute if there's 8 different?
What?
How do you define the word absolute?
It's a absolutely proven, is what I said.
Absolutely not. It's absolutely not proven.
It is. I mean, you've never even heard of it till now. You should probably go look at it before you actually say that.
It almost proves it. Out of your mouth, you said it almost proved it.
Yeah, and then I said evolution is absolutely proven. I wasn't talking about retrovirus DNA. I'm talking about all evolution as a theory, the theory of evolution. It's proven. It's a fact.
Okay, how do you come to that conclusion?
Because it's a scientific theory. That's what a scientific theory is. It's a fact. It's like cell theory and germ theory and the theory of gravity. Those are all facts, but they're also scientific theories.
No. A theory is a guess. It's a hypothesis.
No, it's not. You don't know what a scientific theory is.
A science. Well, now you're switching it. A scientific theory.
I said scientific theory. I said evolution is a scientific theory.
Okay, so you're saying that, and then you're saying there's eight missing.
Nope.
To absolutely.
Now you're changing it again. You even agreed. I already said different.
8 different. But I don't understand how you're coming to a scientific theory.
Well, I pulled it up. We're going to define what a scientific theory is right now.
All right.
As soon as I get it pulled up here. All right. A scientific theory is structured explanation to explain a group of facts or phenomenon in the natural world that often incorporates a scientific hypothesis and scientific laws. The scientific definition of a theory contrasts with the definition most people use in casual conversation. The word theory. That's just a guess in casual conversation. A scientific theory is an explanation of a body of facts.
Right, but those body of facts have to come together to prove.
Is a body of facts facts?
It's a body. It's not put together yet. You got to understand that. Just because you have a whole lot of facts, then you have to coordinate.
What do you think the facts that it's based on are?
That they exist?
That the theory of evolution. What facts do you think those are based on?
Facts.
Like what?
The fact that things exist. All the elements exist. But what you're saying, they are not arranged in a manner that proves conclusively that man came from apes.
It does prove it.
It does not prove it.
We have mapped the entire human genome.
I don't care.
Retrovirus
You have
DNA.
not
All
scientifically
these are
proven
facts.
conclusively that
The
man
theory
came.
of evolution explains those facts, and it is
Yeah,
an
the
incontrovertible
theory.
fact that life evolves.
The theory. See, you're going back to theory.
Scientific theory. No, you're going back to theory. I've been on scientific theory the whole time, and we just read the definition of that, and it's not the same thing as saying theory in casual
Did
conversation.
you or did you not say that you're missing 8?
Wait, what?
Did you or did you not say that you're missing 8?
No, for the 1,000th time, I said they are different.
Different, missing. They're not there.
Sir, you're just being disingenuous now. Well, I appreciate
No,
you
I'm
coming
not.
up, man. You've been nice to talk to, but no, you're changing what I'm saying over and over again. You're changing what you're saying. Like, I don't think anybody's taking you serious at this point. This is just crazy, man. Like, you're being very disingenuous with the way you're arguing now. I didn't think he was like that before, but you devolved into that because I think you was realizing what you were saying wasn't working, so you tried to change it. Like, I don't think so, man. But anyway, I do appreciate you coming up, though. That was the conversation I liked.